Good morning from Pompey. I'm just testing the Dwarf 3 to see how fast it could switch among Messier targets. We're not going to do justice to any of them, and for those who might be interested, I will post the link to the Messier marathon. But today we are testing just Dwarf 3's ability to switch targets, how fast it will hop from one to the next. We are on M42 and we're going to stop and go to M43. Oh, we forgot one thing here. Okay, that's why we are testing. Forgot to turn AI enhance off because I don't need it. Alright, Atlas. I know M43 is very close to M42, but we're gonna do it anyway. Okay, trying to do things in order. 1. Settings. AI enhance off. Filter. Duo band. Reset. 1560. And go. At some point in the near future, we'll try to get an estimate for how long we should sit on each target. I mean, this is just one frame is plenty. And when Dwarf Lab releases their plan my night, then I'd like to plan the entire night, the entire Messier marathon, all 110 objects, and just let Dwarf 3 rip. Alright, we're done here. 78 is next, it says. Good morning, Larry. We have thunderstorms all around us, but I wanted to test Dwarf 3's ability to hop from one target to the next. Good morning, boring. So M78 is next. Okay, we need to stop. There we go. Atlas. Good morning, CGD. By the way, guys, great news. We fixed the 16-inch mead yesterday. I will be documenting the journey at some point, but found myself reusing a soldering iron, which I had not done in years, and removing a part on board, putting another part, and we got it working. Okay, we are at M78. Okay, settings. It kept it off, that's good. No filter for M78. That's something else I need to program as to who wants a filter and who doesn't. And off we go. Well, we discovered that Meade uses the same board on all its LX200 telescopes. The problem with the 16-inch is the declination movement. It would only move up but not down and gives motor stalled failure. We determined that the Meade 8 that was sitting next to it had the identical board but was missing a connector. The board in the Meade 16 had 4 ribbon cables coming out of it. The board in the Meade 8 had 3 ribbon cables coming out of it. So we took the Meade 16 board, put it in the Meade 8, and exhibited the same problems of motor stalled on declination. So I made the decision, much to the chagrin of the faculty member who used to oversee that observatory, to unsolder the extra connector from the bad board, solder it into the good board, and then put the good board in the big telescope, and it worked. I was amazed with my had forgotten how good I used to be at soldering and desoldering, but that worked. Now we're trying to find somebody who has a board to sell, because we think at this point, I got a late night report that one of the chips on the bad board is showing evidence of having burned out. So we need to find somebody who can do unsolder and resolder surface mounted integrated circuits. Not I. So part of the challenge of the Messier Marathon is to optimize the settings and the time spent on each target. Again, as soon as Dwarf Lab gives us the beta to start testing the plan my night, I'd like to be able to put all those parameters next to each target and let it go through the entire 110 objects. Okay, this was M78. M1 Crab Nebula is one I'd like to spend a lot of time on with Dwarf 3 one of those days and see how well it does with it. Yeah, Rice Creek Field Station has lots of microscopes, but at some point I recognized my limitation. They think it's an exclusive OR gate that has failed, an 8-pin chip, surface mounted. I don't have the tools to unsolder surface mounted. I just find somebody who does it for a living. Okay, end current session. Good. Stop tracking M78 and let's go find M1. I don't know if you guys saw, but we got the Dark Shark Nebula with Dwarf 3. I was blown away that it did it. 6 hours and we had a dark shark. Funny incident with Dark Shark Nebula is Microsoft decided that they must install a patch on my laptop even though I had automatic patch installation disabled, and it was during the stream of the Dark Shark Nebula that they just rebooted the computer, disconnected everybody, both telescopes and users, and when they were done installing they said something went wrong, so we are undoing everything we installed, and that was another 15 minutes. Fortunately for me, Dwarf 3 kept doing its thing, and when I reconnected to it, there was a dark shark. Larry, this one, the 23H2, is well documented by many people that it does not install properly on Windows 11. That same update installs on my machine and uninstalls as often as I let it do it. So now I have disabled all updates for 5 weeks, which means we're missing things that we may actually need that might be security updates as opposed to what they call them feature updates. Microsoft's idea of feature updates is to reinstall everything that I had uninstalled from the machine. Everything from the Xbox to the McAfee to the Solitaire package. After every update, I spend the better part of half a day uninstalling everything that they added that I don't need, I don't want. The very first time I did a live webcast, a live stream on the internet, 1997, I had an IBM Aptiva computer. I did Control-Alt-Delete and opened the task manager and deleted all the programs, all the processes running in it except for 2. Count that, 1, 2. I had Explorer running and I had the encoder running. That's all. Now we're talking about 800 processes running on the computer. and they think that's a good idea. Back then, my Aptiva never crashed. It was running that one program to encode data from a camera and stream it live on the internet. That's all it did. That's all I wanted it to do. After M1, we have M35, and then we hit the entire M30 series, M35, 37, 36, 38. Yeah, Larry, that's what's driving me away from Dell and into the arms of Lenovo at this point. They have a lot less junk. So I promised to come back to M1 in the near future and spend a full hour on it. I'd like to see what Dwarf 3 can do with it. But not tonight. Next is M35. Goody, stop tracking M1. Atlas. I'd like to be able to write a script that does all of that automatically, and the Dwarf Lab folks are building one for us. Yes, Microsoft does. Okay, this is a cluster, so we're going to turn off the filter. And go. That's the other thing I'd like to program with those scripts, is how many frames to take per target, or for a given target. So what did you image tonight, Larry? What were you doing to be up so late? And this is M35. Next is M37. Stop it. Okay. M35 is a beautiful target. No, we need to go to Atlas. Sorry. Got things out of order. As you can tell from the extremely small icons, and this is something I'll be talking to Dwarf Lab about, I'm using 4K native resolution, that's why everything is tiny. M93. There's M37. Filter, no filter, preset. I like those presets, it's a good idea. Good morning, Pico. Thanks for the laughter. Apparently it makes a big difference to be able to push the full 4K all the way to your desktops. Today I am just conducting a test for Dwarf Lab, and I decided to do it on a Messier marathon. We're testing the ability of Dwarf 3 to switch in and out of targets frequently all over the place, making sure the mechanics and the software, the firmware primarily, do not go awry. So I'm not spending much of any useful time on any of them, except identifying them, making sure that that's the one, and then going to the next one. Stop. I've been very pleased with how extremely well Dwarf centers the targets. It does not do any plate solving after it calibrates at the beginning of the night, which is how we were able to chase comets with it. Alright, next is M36. Alright, Atlas. Find. Yeah, we had a bad day here rain-wise yesterday, but we think we're over it. I have to keep a close eye on the radar here. Because of the thunderstorms in the region. Okay, enough with M36. M38 after it. Atlas. Choose. There has to be a more efficient way. And then turn off the filter. You know what, I'm gonna go back to settings before I start with that. We have the ability to tell it to do just 10 frames each, so I don't have to worry about it. Let's see how that goes. Okay, where is M41, which is next? So the comet is making it now around the sun, and it will become an evening target by the end of the week, actually by tomorrow. And Saturday evening, if it's clear, will be a good time to try to get it right after sunset. Now that the 16-inch has been fixed, we're going to see if we can get the new moon with it. The 2024 PT5, the asteroid that was somehow kicked out of the asteroid belt. Earth captured it in its gravity for a full lap, but then the sun said, nope, it's mine, go back to your room. So it's going to be heading back out. We have it till November 25-ish. It's about 33 feet in size. And the experts say you need a 30-inch telescope to view it. I'm going to try with a 16-inch and a very high density sensor. Probably go with the 183 ASI, 20 megapixels. So stay tuned, we're going to try to get it. The other thing I want to do with that big scope is see if I can split TCRB into its two stars. Have not been able to do it with my 11-inch. Okay, all right. So that worked. M38, M41 is a little bit low to the horizon, but we'll see if we can get it. It's a cluster, which means filter should be off. And go. Good, it did not reset the total number of frames. Comes complete with the plane. As some of you may have heard, I am planning a special Halloween night in the week before Halloween, whatever day the weather is good. And we're going to look at a bunch of targets with a scary theme, everything from the Wizard Nebula to the Witch Nebula to Sauron's Eyes. Should be a fun night. M93 is going to be even lower. Atlas. M93. It's a cluster. Okay, it is in the trees, but that is not gonna stop us from Can we just skip it? Yes, we can. Okay, Atlas. M47. That's going to be part of reordering some of the targets for my location. Okay, that's more like it. And we are also planning a Caldwell marathon at some point this winter. One remaining big task on my plate is collimating the 11-inch. Now that we got the atmospheric dispersion corrector working, thanks to SharpCap, that will give us feedback on how much atmospheric dispersion there is in a picture and how to correct it. Once we collimate the 11-inch properly, then we'll be able to go after Saturn, Jupiter and Mars. Mars is getting bigger by the day. It will reach minor opposition in January. Looking forward to looking at the ice caps again. Speaking of Mars, I'm going to take a quick detour and go look at Mars. Make sure Dwarf can find it and then move back to what we're doing. Okay, done and current session. Good, stop. Function Atlas. There is Mars. It sure is red. Let's see if we can convince it to give us a nice picture. We can make it as small as you want to. Okay, that was Mars. Hi, Mick. I wish you a lot of enjoyment with the Seestar S50. It has given me lots of joy over the past, better part of a year and a half. Atlas. This is one feature that I'm liking on the Dwarf app. And there is Jupiter. Mick, I'll be happy to provide any and all advice that you need. Just shoot me comments through the channel. You can comment on any of my videos with your questions and I'll be happy to answer them. Or look up my email address and email me and I'll gladly answer. There's Jupiter with a couple of moons. I don't know whether we can make Jupiter look any better than Mars. We'll see. First things first, filter off. Second, gain 0. Third, shutter speed. Ideally it should be 160. There it is. Okay, at the risk of being accused of blasphemy, I'm gonna capture a video and then see if I can process it later on, stack it. So I'm gonna get out of Astro, go to video. I'm going to take 30 seconds at 1/60th and then take another one at 1/25th. Back to settings. Let's take another bunch. It looks round to me, but may have to what's happening here? One 2/50th. Alright, back to our mini Messier. M46 is next. Back to Astro, please. Make sure the settings have not changed on us. Nope. Atlas 47, 46. Mick, the big difference between Dwarf and Seestar when it comes to acquiring targets is that Dwarf will calibrate at the beginning of the night and then go to targets all night long. Seestar does not calibrate. It assumes it's pointing north the beginning of the night, and when you send it to a target, it'll go there and plate solve and make sure it's there. And you'll get used to that fairly quickly, unless you find the telescope plate solving the wall, which it does often. If it starts the night on the wrong foot or aimed in the wrong direction, it may go looking for the target by staring at the wall of the house, and then certainly not find it for a while. There's M46 and then M50. M50 is very close to Sirius, so we might pay Sirius a quick visit just to say hey. Or you don't, you just before you turn it on, you set it on the tripod, on a table, on whatever you want to set it on, and have it aimed north. That's all. I got in the habit of going to Polaris as my very first target each night. And then from there, the night becomes smooth, especially if you have a clear view of both north and south. This way, in the unlikely event that it mistakes its north for its south and goes south looking for Polaris, then it immediately knows that it's not. Yes, CGD, same thing. For me, I like the convenience of not thinking what bright star is out there, since Polaris is always there. Yeah, I still remember poor Seestar at the very first day I had it. It was desperately trying to plate solve the wall. There looks like there's a nebula in the middle of that M46. Let me see if we can find out what it is. Yes, it is NGC 2438. Nice. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's right there. Okay, we said we're going to M50 next. But we did say we're going to give Sirius a shout. Seriously. And that is Sirius. And while we are at Sirius, we're gonna do due diligence by hopping over to the four corners of the Orion constellation, Atlas. Give me Orion. There we go. We're going to do Betelgeuse, Bellatrix, Rigel, and Safe. We are at Sirius right now. Let's do them backwards. Nah. Betelgeuse. Yes. Hi, Michael King. Thank you for joining us. By the way, if you guys are not subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe. It's the most fun channel on astronomy on YouTube. There is Betelgeuse. It has not gone supernova yet. Bellatrix is next. We're going to try to do the entirety of Orion in wide angle and see what it looks like. Wide. Atlas. Take me to M42. Yes, CGD, it has been extremely good, and by the way, it's not plate solving. Alright, what's going on here? We want to see it in wide angle. Ah, that's what's going on. We have a house in the way. Okay, but this is what one might expect. Let's find something away from the house for a minute to show you how it does, how it stacks in wide angle. M44 may be a good one. That was the purpose of this morning's session, is to test it on the Go tools. It is friction driven as opposed to gear driven, which seems to give it superior performance. Let's find M44. Please. It's doing some thinking. Let's try again. Atlas. Okay guys, the rain is here. I'm getting